It's getting cold. Time for a fire. Got a load of kindling here. Redwood splits like butter. Gets the fire going real fast. You know, I've been thinking more and more about my video collection and that goal to hit 1,000 videos. So I got to step it up and start doing more and more. But one thing that I wanted to talk about is that these videos could and should be used for safety talks, because one of the goals that I've got is to prepare some videos, even if they're short videos, you know, less than 10 minutes long, that you guys, the owners of the companies, can email to your guys ahead of time, say the night before, and say, watch this, this is what we're talking about in the morning. And you pick a topic. And pick any one of my videos, but some of them are more safety talk directed. And if you can get everybody on the same page, and then show it again, you know, put it on an iPad or whatever, even phones if there's just a few guys, and show it and talk about it. You know, so I got a good idea for safety talk that I want to bring up today, and that's about the importance of hand signals. Sunday morning. You know, one of the last videos I did, the one where I was up in the tree, the big sycamore tree, I was preparing to drop a stub and I yelled out, "Heads up!" And then you can carefully toss the stub down. Head up! What? And the guy on the ground said, "What?" And I dropped it. And one of the comments was, you know, we use the word headache. And that's something that I've done a lot in the past. And the relationship with the climber and the grounds person or people, the number of people on the ground, are so critical. The communication is so critical, but it's not always a verbal communication. The call that the climber gives is really a matter of respect for the ground crew. And I've worked with a lot of climbers that have used everything from headache to heads up to hip. You know, that's a common one too, just a quick little noise. But the ground crew has got to be on the same page. And if you hire a new guy and somebody forgets to tell them what the calls are, what the communication signals are, then somebody can get hurt. But hand signals are also really, really critical. I've worked with hundreds of groundspeople in all the years, and there's been a few people that I've worked with that I particularly like working with. Jeff Walter, I've got so many years working with him that if I'm up in the tree and he's on the ground and he's managing the rope, I can just look down to him, and as soon as we make eye contact, we're connected. And I can look down at him, he knows I'm getting ready, and he can just give a nod or a thumbs up, and I'm good to go. But other times I've got a grounds person I'm not used to, and I'll say, "Are you ready? You know, if you got the rope, okay, it's going to be heavy." But if you have the relationship with somebody that knows what's going on and is constantly looking up at you, that makes all the difference in the world. And it's also important that the grounds person is looking out for other people too. Because when you're up in the tree, you can only see so much. You know, if there's pedestrians coming by or if there's bicycles coming by, those grounds people have got to be right on it. You've got to stop people. You've got to put up barriers, you know, even if they're barriers that are just warnings. You got to look for that bike coming down the road, you know, and just say, "Hold up, wait, you know, we got a bike coming," or something of that sort. So the communication from the grounds person to the climber is so important. And some of the hand signals, you know, that I've learned over the years, it's like, let's say, backing up a trailer. How many times have you guys had a guy backing up the trailer where he goes like that, you know, and you don't know, it's come, how fast? Whereas the best way to do it, and this is the way the fire department teaches you to do it, is you give it an idea of how close you are. And when your hands touch, that's where you're supposed to be. You're right over the ball. And you've even got the option of going like this, you know, as you're coming, and that tells you how fast to come. If it's really slow, you know, you can start out real wide, you know, if they're too far, but as you get closer and closer, the person looking at you in the mirror knows exactly where you're at. That's a critical hand signal. And every team should have an idea of not only what works, but what works best. Now, getting back to up in the tree, You know, there's a lot of times where I'll have a climber up in the tree and I'm on the ground and I want to tell them what I would like them to do. Sometimes they're counting on me to help make the decisions because I've communicated with the client. We know how much to take off. But, you know, I don't want to be shouting at them. Now, a lot of you guys will say, well, that's the time where you got to get those expensive headsets and have the... Well, that doesn't always happen. And those are not always efficient. Sometimes the batteries go dead. Sometimes those little earpieces get caught up on the branches. So pros and cons. There's a good side and a bad side to everything, but you should know the basics. You know, everybody should go back to old school before you advance yourself. So some of the really critical hand signals that I'll use, you know, if I'm on the ground and somebody's way up in the air and there's a chainsaw running in the front yard, or the wind is blowing and the guy can't hear, or whatever reason, you know, it's easy. As soon as you make eye contact and both people are connected, you know, then you can say up a little bit more and stop right there, and you can say cut it, or cut it. Cut it is a good one right there, you know, or stop. Stop is so important. You know, back in the truck, stop, or, you know, stop. Those sorts of things are critical even if you're up in a tree, you know, because if something's happening on the ground, you don't want to sit there yelling, stop, stop, stop. You want something where the person can look at you and know exactly what you're talking about. But if you guys have not communicated these signs and these understandable ways of communicating, then you can all get in trouble. I owned a crane for about 15 years, and a lot of the crane signals are really important. You know, that's up cable, that's down cable, you know, that's stop, you know, and you know, you can do left, right. There's you know, there's lots and lots of signals that are kind of different across the different industries, and you can use crane signals in the trees. You can, you know, vice versa, and understanding, that's the key. You really have to understand all the hand signals. And, you know, throughout time, you know, there's been all kinds of hand signals, you know, out there. You know, you're driving in traffic, you know, that's a hand signal. Everybody knows what that means. There's that one. I don't know what that means, but I know it's bad. You know, we've got that one. That's about as bad as it gets. And sometimes people pull guns on you if you do that one. But, you know, I want to wrap it up with a little bit of a hand signal that I'd like to bring back. You know, I'm a kid of the 60s and the 70s, and peace was a really good one. So I'm going to say peace to you, and pay attention to what you're doing up there.